Welcome back to a special edition of Eye in the Sky. And you can see from our makeshift studios, we're getting ready to move the entire operation across the pond over to Dublin, take on the Pittsburgh Steelers, then pick everything up and move it across another pond to play the Cleveland Browns in London on the following Sunday. But as the old saying goes, don't tell me how rough the waters are, just bring the ship in. Now, before we get to the Steelers, let me say this. I had the opportunity to do a proper film room with Brian Flores covering Isaiah Rodgers once in a lifetime day against the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm going to be doing another film room with head coach Kevin O'Connell to cover the entire Cincinnati game. I'll leave links to both of those in the description below. So, how do we beat these Steelers? Well, let's turn to the film and find out. But let me say this, it all starts and stops with Aaron Rodgers. The name Aaron Rodgers still traumatizes me from the decade or so that he spent going up and down the field on us in Green Bay. Now, in my opinion, there are some things that he can still do, but there are a lot of things that he really no longer can do. And I'm going to start with what can he do? And this is where Rodgers is still an effective quarterback. In this case, we're going to see New England do a fire zone, meaning they're going to do some messing around at the line of scrimmage here, but they're going to ultimately send this linebacker up the middle, and then this DB is going to come on an underneath stunt, and you're basically going to get it's a type of man-to-man, it's a type of zone. It's very hard to describe. I think a lot of it depends upon how the back releases and a number of other things. But this is Rodgers at his best still, right? You get the messing around at the line of scrimmage. Now he gets to the top of his drop and he's about ready to throw the football here. This safety's playing kind of a cheat half. Is this area of the field is absolutely wide open. He has this big area to throw the football to. And at this point, is he is releasing the football, there's nobody there. Absolutely no one. And one thing about Rodgers as we get into this film is just his footwork. Okay. When he throws this football, he's barely even stepping forward. He's doing all of this with his hips. So as he gets older, yeah, the arm gets a little less strong, but unless he's throwing the football way down the field, he's literally just keeping his feet planted and twisting with his hips. But this is, again, a beautiful football. This receiver right here is just going to work his way in behind this linebacker. This guy gets a little bit too far out. Protect the middle of the field. You got people and bodies on the outside. This ball's thrown right over the hash mark, caught. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch, and a big gain for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this is something that Aaron Rodgers still does very well. One of the things you're going to notice when the Steelers offense is on the field is how much time they spend at the line of scrimmage. They give Aaron Rodgers plenty of time to survey the field, see what he's going to get, make some checks, do different things with the offense. It's a prudent thing. He's been around forever. Why not give him the power to do so? So they spend a lot of time at the line of scrimmage. Well, in this play, you can see Aaron gives a signal out to the side. It gets acknowledged by the receiver. The coverage they're going to get, it's a different one. It's kind of one half of the field is playing one thing, and then the bottom half down here is playing something different. But watch how quickly Aaron Rodgers can diagnose this play. So once he gets almost to the top of his drop, by right to this point right here, he knows exactly where he's going to go with the football. This safety is really looking to the three receiver side. All right. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders really over here. What they're not defending is this flat. This linebacker is getting himself pulled out of the flat. So Rodgers knows right when he gets to this point, there's a window. There's going to be an alley right here. Get a good inside release by the wide receiver. He's already getting ready to throw this football. But again, watch his footwork, okay? He's in his back pedal, and then as he knows where he's going to go with the ball, he's not stepping. He's just literally replanting both of his feet. And this is all arm right there. It's all arm. But he's experienced enough to know right where to throw it, right in this alleyway, and hit this receiver in stride on a slant route. So it's a good 9-10 yard gain. So he's so good at diagnosing pre-snap. He's so good at knowing where the holes in the defense are going to be. Now, Aaron Rodgers is still as good at throwing the 50-50 ball as anybody in the league, and he takes every opportunity he possibly can, like this play right here. It's a little bit of mix of a pre-snap read and then throwing that 50-50 ball to the right guy. So prior to the snap, just remember this. This guy right here, that's DK Metcalf. Got him in the offseason. Very, very good football player. Big body. That's important. Now, before the snap, you have a corner sitting here and you have a safety sitting right on top. The Steelers are going to send another tight end, wide receiver tight end, I think, in motion down in the bottom. And what do the Seahawks do? They bump. That means the corner always takes the furthest guy from the outside, and the safety's going to come down and cover the wide receiver. As soon as Rodgers saw the bump, he knows exactly where he's going to go with this football because he knows what route he's going to get. At the snap, you're going to get this body inside to pick the safety, and then it's going to be an out route. So snap of the ball, top, sets his feet. Look at this little exchange going right here. Now, Rodgers has exactly what he wants. This area out here is wide open, and he has a 6'4", some odd 6'5", whatever he is, receiver sprinting to the sideline. That's exactly what he wants to throw. And again, watch Rodgers' feet. As soon as he knows where to go with his football, he backpedals, he turns, and then it's literally, he didn't even step. He's just throwing this, lifting the shoulder, throwing this football to the outside. But the accuracy is what still is amazing to me. DK Metcalf goes up. I mean, between Rodgers and Metcalf, these 50-50 balls are more like 70-30s. But if he can isolate him one-on-one, any of the receivers outside, especially against the safety, that's exactly where he's going to throw the football. But it's always quickly, though. Speaking of quick throws, watch this one. Again, in the red zone, spreading out the formation. When you spread out an offensive formation, it's harder for the defense to disguise what they're trying to do. In this case, you got a pistol type of a look, shotgun where the running back is. Once again, right up here, DK Metcalf. Now, pre-snap, what we're seeing is this defensive back is what? He's rolled up. Okay, so you got DK Metcalf all on his own, a rolled up corner. Rodgers knows by now where he's throwing this football, right? We get the running back to bump out a little bit. As he's bumping out, the linebacker widens, so his eyes are on him, so he's probably getting man-to-man over here. But there's just no safety. There's nothing deep here in the corner. Watch Rodgers' footwork. Takes his snap, 1-2. Look at that. He doesn't even step with his left foot. I mean, he's literally just twisting the hips, letting this thing go, and look where this ball's placed. Beautifully. He can throw this little 3-step fade as well as anybody in the league still, even though he's 500 years old. But when you put DK Metcalf one-on-one against any corner, Rodgers is going to do this. You have to be ready as a corner to defend that, and you got a big body on top. Pretty good combination there between Rodgers and Metcalf, especially throwing the fade. It doesn't have to be DK Metcalf that's getting the one-on-one look. In this case, it's Calvin Austin. And as we look at this picture, you can see it being set up already. Right here, top of your screen. What do we have? Receiver on his own, and then a rolled up corner with a half-looking safety over here. That leaves this corner of the end zone wide open. Rodgers sees this pre-snap. Really, it's the same formation. 3 wide receivers bumped out, backside X receiver. That's where you're going to get this fade. Watch Rodgers when he gets the snap. Step, boom. He's just flicking this thing. This is just literally all arm right here. Look at that. He's stepping back with his left foot and literally, just like you throw the football to your kid or throw it to, an 8th grade football team. Great job, though, by Austin up here to beat this corner. But look at this throw right here, back shoulder, keeps his eyes on it. Great catch, touchdown. So you get in the red zone, you leave a receiver one-on-one, you better be ready for the fade, especially if you're going to be rolled up. So far, Rodgers looks like the Rodgers of old, but believe me, there are things the Vikings defense can do to get him off of his game. This is a good example of just getting him off of his spot. You can't let Rodgers get to the top of his drop and set. You got to make him move. Right here on a play action, this is a perfect example. Okay, there's base down. You got a couple tight ends in the game. Rodgers is going to take the snap, play fake, and sets up. But what we have is right here in the middle, and this is where these big beef eaters, guys like Levi Drake Rodriguez and Jalen Redmond, have to be successful, is the push up the middle. Okay, Rodgers is getting to the top of his drop, but he's going to be getting somebody right in his face. Okay, see, he's trying to set up. Now, teams have had a lot of success playing some man-to-man on the outside. Okay, there's nowhere for Rodgers to go right now. Both of these receivers are covered. It's a two-man route. They kept a few extra guys in the block. He can't go anywhere with it. So he has to pull this thing down and start to move. Now, right now, as soon as he resets his feet, if his outlet isn't there, if the running back isn't there, he's done. There's nothing else left for him to do. He's trying to get this football out, but the outlet's covered and both receivers are covered. He ends up just doing what? Throwing this thing away. So back in the day, he was most dangerous when he got out of the pocket. These days, you want to really force him out of the pocket, get him off of his spot, get some tight coverage, and he's literally just going to throw that thing away. Now, New England did a good job of manning up these wide receivers, getting gut pressure, that means pressure up the middle on Rodgers, and just getting him off of his spot. They're going to do it in this case. This linebacker right here is going to blitz up the middle. So you get a 5-man rush and you're going to have man-to-man behind it. Okay, so first of all, send a wide receiver in motion. Why? So the quarterback can tell, are they squirming with the safeties? Because that's probably more like zone. Are they running a guy with them? But we're getting man-to-man here. And again, here's this linebacker rushing right up the middle. Now, he might be a green dog. He might have this running back man-to-man. So if you blitz and he picks you up, then you got him covered. It's a lot easier to cover him that way than it is in space. But as this play develops and Rodgers gets right here to the top of his drop, he has nowhere to go. In fact, they have a free kind of a robber underneath and then a free safety. He has nowhere to go. You have 5 New England defenders doing what? Collapsing the pocket out of him. And Rodgers doesn't want it. He'll hang. Nobody open still. He's done. So they'll try to do the spin out move here. It's not what it used to be. Hit, fumbled. Steelers recover it. But again, New England, gut pressure, getting Rodgers off of his spot and then man behind it. So he doesn't have a lot of time. That's how you get him off of his game. All right, another great example of just tight man-to-man coverage. All right, Steelers, they're an empty. They've got everybody spread out. The splits matter, meaning the distance between this receiver, this tight end, they're not bunched up. They're wide. That means you can play man-to-man. You're not going to get picked, okay? New England sees this and does a beautiful job. They're not blitzing here. They're literally going to rush 3 and drop a couple guys out underneath to robber the quarterback. But as Rodgers is right here getting to the top of his drop, there's nothing. Nobody is open. He might have had a chance at this out route down here. I think that would have been the safe place to go. Maybe the tight end here on a stick route. But once he gets up to the top and his primary isn't there, which is over here on the top, he's done. Back in the day, when he started running like this, you would hold your breath because he's going to heave it deep. Somebody's going to get open. Not really anymore. He's kind of running for his life. Now, what's wild is he has a wide open target right here. I mean, wide open. That's a first down. He throws his football, and look how far off it ends up. I mean, just to go back a little bit, it's amazing the change in Rodgers, right? This stage, with this tight end this wide open, this ball would have been delivered like a laser beam. This, now look at that, just a throw behind him. It's amazing how much Rodgers has changed when he's out of the pocket and on the run. You want more proof that the arm strength just isn't there? Watch this one. Again, Steelers spread out 2x2, top and bottom. You're going to get 4 verticals on this route, and you'll see what happens. So Rodgers takes the snap. He's getting his 4 verticals. He gets to the top of his drop. He's getting ready to set his feet. What he wants to do is throw the football down here on the bottom in this area right here. There's this kind of a nice job by this wide receiver to widen the best that he can, and then he's going to work his way back in. So he's trying, these guys are stacked on top of each other with the width because he's trying to bring it back in. So taking it back to the beginning, this receiver, watch the 2 receivers on the bottom, widens. Now you see this lane, right? You see this lane that's opening. This is a throw that Rodgers would make all the time. A good step into it, strong arm throw. You have to get it in there. You have to squeeze it in there between these 2 defenders. Now, what's also happening is he's about ready to get smacked by this defensive end, but still, back in the day, he'd step up, deliver this football down the field. Now, he's getting hit. That football falls short. I mean, look at this right here. There's a dig behind this guy. There's this lane here. I don't know, unless he's trying to wait for this thing to go across to the middle. I have no idea. But he literally throws this football right to the linebacker, a big interception for the New England Patriots. When I saw this, I was just amazed at how much Aaron Rodgers has changed, especially when you get pressure on him, and also his inability to really drive the ball down the field. All right, you still don't believe me? Watch this one, okay? Seattle's kind of giving them, it's a type of a quarters look, it looks to me, but on bottom, they're locking this corner on this wide receiver pretty tightly, but it's still, it's a form of umbrella that you're going to get here, okay? They send the running back out into the flat, and when you get to this point, as Rodgers is in the top of his drop, a couple things to note. First of all, this pocket here, pretty darn good. Okay, he has time to survey the field. Nothing's really open right now, but a couple of things to point out. First of all is this safety right here. His eyeballs are looking toward the 3 receiver side, okay? Back in the day, when Rodgers would see this ball would go to this tight end or receiver down the field for a touchdown. Okay, he would see this safety pushing over to the strong side. He would murder it on the backside. He has this corner or safety over here beat. This is wide open. Doesn't throw it there. But he's got a couple of options. And those are down here. You have an in route right here, which is going to get you about a first down. And then you also have a high-low type of a look right here where they're high-low in this linebacker. He's got options right here. But what happens? He starts seeing the rush and he immediately pulls this thing down. So this route really didn't get to develop. If he bought himself a little more time, he would have this receiver coming across the middle of the field and he could absolutely get the football to, but he's already seeing the rush. That's the difference. Back in the day, he would scramble to beat you deep. Now he's starting to see the rush. And once that happens, he takes his eyes off down the field and then ends up getting, in this case, brought down for a sack by the Seattle Seahawks. Where do you see these 2 gems? Okay. Pittsburgh is going to try to play action and take a shot deep here, right? And what they want to do is do what they call it a Z deep over, meaning this Z receiver up top is going to run a deep over route. Well, they take this inside receiver and run him on a clearing route to get that safety. And then up top, they're going to take this receiver, work him upfield, and then work him across like this to try to make the safety in the 2 corners have to pass it off. And if the DBs don't communicate, it can become very difficult. So on the snap, okay, 2 extra tight ends, play fake, gets to the top of his drop. We're seeing this route develop. This receiver's working his way up. He's eventually going to bend it back kind of on a 7 route, but this is the guy that they want. This corner right here is outside shade, so this receiver should have a lot of room to get all the way across this field. Okay, Rodgers is protected very well, right? He's buying himself some time, taking a couple of steps, but he's getting ready to throw. He's either going to try to hit Metcalf here on the deep 7, or this receiver working his way across. You tell me, as he throws his football and watch where it lands, which guy was he throwing to? He threw it right in the middle. I mean, he was just trying to get rid of this football. So, again, back in the day, we absolutely would have seen this football land near or in the hands of one of these two receivers. In this case, he's just throwing it right in between them where nobody can catch it. Never have seen this out of Rodgers before. And I tell you what, if the Vikings can take care of business and get pressure up the middle, we're not going to see a lot of these kinds of attempts at all. All right, just to put an exclamation point on everything that we've talked about. This is a 3rd and 8 situation. New England is going to be playing the exact same defense that we saw earlier, where you have a linebacker stepped up who's eventually going to bring pressure, and then you have man-to-man across the board. One of these safeties will work his way in the middle, kind of a high-low lurk type of a look where you have a free robber underneath and then the free safety deep. But watch how this play transpires. Again, 3rd and 8, keep that in mind. So Rodgers gets the snap and he gets up to the top of his drop. What is he getting? You're getting a go route up on top, meaning this receiver's running a go to clear that area out. He's kind of counting on this guy to win a one-on-one matchup, get his body in, and then work his way to the outside. Okay. So he wants to work away from this free safety, but again, take it to the outside. At this point, before Rodgers throws, as he gets up here to get his feet set, these routes aren't even developed. They're not even past the line to gain. This is the line to gain. Now he's getting a little bit of pressure at his feet. The pocket's okay, but he's getting some pressure at his feet. He's literally just getting rid of this football. The guy's not even out of his break and the ball is in the air, which we've seen out of other quarterbacks able to get it to this receiver as he breaks to the sideline. But watch where this football lands. It lands all the way back behind the receiver. So to get Rodgers off of his game, I mean, he could still throw the fade. If you're going to line up and press and you got DK Metcalf out, he's still going to throw the fade as accurately. The 50-50 balls, he's still as good as he's ever been. Short throws, diagnosing your defense pre-snap, knowing where the lanes are. He's still unbelievably good at that. But what has changed is you get him off his spot. Our pass rush needs to get him moving. Back in the day when he would move, you would hold your breath because he was going to throw that football deep and make a big play out of it. Now you want to get after him in the pocket, make him move, and great things can happen. He doesn't have the arm strength he once did, nor can he create. He cannot create with his legs. Don't be afraid to do that. If the Vikings can get after him, get him off his spot, make him move around, it's going to be a very, very good day in Ireland.